What's up with it? You tune in to another episode of Everything Boxing. There he go talking that boxing again. I don't watch reality TV. I watch boxing. And you already know what to do. When you come in the building, you know what I'm saying? Hit my like button first of all and let me know where you coming from. What's up with it? Like I said, when you come in the building, smash that like button first of all, and then let me know where you coming from. Sal Hamilton off in the building. Okay. Everybody wish Sal Hamilton a happy birthday. He coming from that Jersey. Okay, he doing it big tonight. Birthday boy off in the building. Sporting Advantage. What's good with it? Salute. And y'all already know, like I do, I'm just giving people time to, hop off in the building and we're gonna get it started. Todd Swindle coming in from that 404. He said where the protest turned into a riot. Shit. Protesting wasn't doing nothing, so hey, for every action there's a reaction. Well, what's good with you, Todd? How you been? And like I said, when you come in the building, let me know where you coming from and hit the like button. Mark Wonderlick, what's good? He coming in the house from that Utah. Salute to you, my brother. Yeah, we gonna cook tonight, but I ain't gonna be on here for too long tonight. Like I said, when you come in the building, drop your name. Let me know where you coming from. And we finna get the show started real soon here. Long Bros Kulos, what's good with it? Yes, sir. We got a lot to talk about in the short amount of time I'm gonna be on here. Like I said, I'm not gonna be on here long, but while we in here, we gonna get it in. And Long Bros Kulos coming from the 313. Detroit off in the building. So, first thing I want to talk about, before we even get into boxing, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Whoever get in the building late, they just get in the building late and they can watch the replay. But one thing I want to touch on before we even get into boxing, I see a lot of posts, on social media, with people having something to say about the rioting going on. I see a lot of people having something to say about all of the rioting that's going on. But them same people that's vocal and have something to say about the rioting going on, whether you feel it's wrong or right, are the same people that didn't have nothing to say about the killings that's going on. The same people that didn't have nothing to say about when George Floyd was murdered, they didn't have nothing to say about that. When all of these other unarmed black men are murdered, they didn't have nothing to say about that. But the same people are quick to come on and, criticize people for rioting and having a reaction to the actions that were taken. So, do you think people are not supposed to react? When marching don't work, protesting didn't work. So what else is it? And I hear people talking about, okay, let's all get together and have a blackout day. All the minorities get together and have a blackout where you don't spend none of your money. Okay, that's cool, but then what after that? What do you do after that? What takes place after that? So, don't criticize and have a whole different type of energy if you can sit there and watch a man get murdered in cold blood and didn't have nothing to say about it. So if you don't have nothing to say about that, shut the fuck up and don't have nothing to say about nothing. Period. Straight like that. Whether it's right or wrong. So if you can turn your cheek and act like nothing happens when you see these men and women getting murdered by the police, do the same thing when you see the rioting going on. You feel me? Yeah, man, it's pain in my voice because what y'all seen happen to Malcolm Floyd, the same shit happened to me in 2005 for no reason. I didn't commit a crime. I didn't do anything at all. I was just really profiled. And the only difference between what happened to him and what happened to me was, for one, I survived. Okay? And he wasn't fortunate enough to survive. The same thing happened to me. But I got it worse because I got a flashlight to the back of my head while I was handcuffed. One of the officers was, prying up, had my arm in some type of hole and was prying up on my shoulder, separated my shoulder, and the other officer was coming down as hard as he could with a big ass metal flashlight about this big on the back of my head, and I survived. I had a separated shoulder and I had to get a whole lot of stitches. But the only difference is back then we didn't have no cameras running around, cell phones running around to showcase everything. But now it's different. you know. But the same thing goes on. They're gonna get charged or whatever, and they're gonna get off free. Ain't shit changed. And when you go through something like that, you find out how hard it is for, first of all, to get a lawyer to take your case, especially back then when nothing's on camera, to get a lawyer to take the case. Then you find out the police themselves. You got to go through them to get anything done. The police themselves, unless the FBI you get involved. You got to go through their departments just to even, get anything done to move forward. But y'all don't hear me though. It's all fun and games until it happened to you or somebody that's close to you. Jack, World Combat Sports, salute my brother. Everybody go subscribe to World Combat Sports. And hit my like button. If you in the building, hit my like button. Jack Ashford says, what can white allies do in this situation like this? You know what, man? My focus is really not on what white people can do, because like I said, it's not I don't have no thing against all white people. It's bad white people, just like any other bad people from any other race. You feel me? Brandon House off in the building. What's good with it, my brother? But at the same time, what I do notice, and I notice a lot of black people, you know what I'm saying, that look like me. A lot of black people that look like me. That's the shit that I noticed, because the shit that goes on with white people, I'm used to it. I'm used to it. That shit been going on for centuries. You see what I'm saying? But then the minorities, and then the black people that look like us, that look like me, they sometimes are the main ones that have nothing to say, but then are the quick to come on there and criticize some shit when they see rioting or other actions taking place, and that shit's just sad to me. That's why we could never stick together. That's why we don't ever stick together. I just got a question. If you criticizing what's going on, but you didn't have nothing to say, when you watch the video of George Floyd getting killed, so you was able to turn your cheek and have nothing to say about that, but then you have everything to say, when you see the rioting going on. Make that shit make sense to me. If you're gonna have an energy, keep the same energy. Because a lot of you motherfuckers won't stand for nothing, and you'll fall for anything. And I see it. A lot of black people, they'll do shit just to, just to look good, for the white people. For the white people that's posting it. They be the first ones to hop in there. Yeah, this is just ignorant. Okay, but you didn't have nothing to say before. So the reason, what I'm saying is, stand for something, and if you go have energy about something, keep the same energy all the way across. And if you're not gonna say nothing, don't say nothing about shit. Period. Brandon Lombros Kulo says the same thing happened to me on the way to the casino on 7 Mile and in 2006. He says I was profiled by white pair of police officers, and the person who saved me was a black lieutenant. He says, I thank God for the gentleman, because he read through the situation. He said he read through the situation quick and intelligently. Man, I'm telling you. Like I said, yeah, I feel like I felt that shit when I watched it, because I looked at it and that was me before. In all of these killings that go on, I feel it, because that could be me, that could be you, that could be any one of us at any given time and day. World Combat Sports says, why riot and not protest? The two are very different when the looting become the priority. Because this is the thing. Like I said, whether you feel it's right or wrong, when you protest, what has a protest ever gotten done? We still didn't have I mean, what has protest? We didn't have marches, protests, all of it. Let me know what has that ever gotten done? What has that? It hasn't done anything. That's why that's why they took it to other measures. Like I said, whether I feel it's right or wrong, I mean, what else where do you go from when you've tried everything, when you've tried everything else and it doesn't work? The same killings are still happening by these police officers on unarmed black men and women. And then you got motherfuckers like Polly Malignaggi that'll try to tell you that racism don't exist. You have Jason Whitlock that will tell you that racism doesn't exist. It's just it's no such thing as racism. It's unfairness. Really? All right. But anyway, let me see. Brandon House says, exactly. You know why we do this? You think we started a riot out the blue? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, hit my like button and share this to all your boxing groups. And we gonna get the show started. Give me 1 second. But people don't want to hear about shit like this. You want to come in here and hee hee ha ha and talk about boxing, but you don't want to talk about no real shit. And I'm here to let you know, anybody that see this, that was that thought it was cool for them to be vocal when they seen people rioting, but had nothing to say or ever have anything to say when they see these unarmed men and women getting killed by the police. I'm here to tell everybody, don't watch me. Don't fuck with me, because I don't fuck with you. I don't give a goddamn about a view or none of that. Period. When you see me on here, keep scrolling. Brandon House says, yeah, shit crazy. He says, I remember when I had my box Chevy, the state trooper pulled me over on Woodward and Trowbridge in Detroit. He says, cuffed me, set me down on the curb, took my door panels off, took my back seat out, and couldn't find shit. He said he couldn't find shit and let me go. Excuse me. He said, and I had to pay $200 to get all my shit back. I'm telling you, this shit happens to us every day. And I'm not going to sit there and have a fat motherfucker like Jason Whitlock tell me, oh, it's no such thing as racism. It's just unfairness and it happens to everybody. Or Polly Malignaggi that says systematic racism it doesn't exist. This is not the 1800s no more. Right? Come on now. But we can, I'll have we can have a whole nother show and a whole nother, topic discussion on that, because I'll go all night. But I just wanted to let y'all know how I felt on the issues that's going on. So like I said, rioting didn't work, protesting didn't work, marching didn't work, nothing else works. So, I mean, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? You know, I think they feel like if we riot and, tear up some shit that, affects them, put it in their face, you know, um, and start, doing things that affect them personally, then maybe we could get somewhere. Maybe, maybe they'll start, maybe they'll think twice before they murder the next black man or woman. Maybe they'll think twice about it if we riot and tear up a whole bunch of shit. I think that's the reason why, they go to those measures. But so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get into this boxing talk. You feel me? Lewis hitting off in the building. What's good with it, my brother? But we gonna go ahead and get into this boxing talk. Okay. So Deontay Wilder. Okay. I heard people, oh, he's still only making $5 million, no more than $10 million a fight, right? Before I get, okay, Lombros Kulo says LaDainian Tomlinson is a very respectable man. He says he embraced his family history, and his history is one everyone should look at. It's on Football Story. Oh, yeah. A football life. I think you mean. Yeah, man, y'all need to go check that out. LaDainian Tomlinson. And one thing before I get into this boxing, one more thing I do want to say is I hear a lot of people saying, looking like, why are these athletes? We want to see what athletes come out and say anything, what athletes are going to be vocal about the situation. One thing I got to say about these young athletes, how can you expect these young athletes to stand on anything? I'm not talking about all of them. I'm saying a lot of them, most of them. How can you expect them to come out and speak on the situation like this when half of these motherfuckers, they'll put a statement out about how they feel about some shit, and they won't even stand on their own square about what came out of their own mouth on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, or whatever social media platform it might be. They'll put some shit out, and as soon as they start getting heat about it, they'll say, oh, well, that wasn't me that said that. My account got hacked. My account got hacked. That wasn't me that said that. Or they'll put some shit out about how they feel, and that's the way they feel. And then as soon as they start getting heat about it, they'll retract their statement and apologize for saying how they felt. So you gonna look at these same athletes and expect them to come out and say anything about anything that has to do with racial injustice? Come on now. You really think that? Why you think Kaepernick was damn near standing alone? It wasn't too many players that got behind him, But like I said, that's a whole nother conversation. And I'll go all night about this. But so let's talk about, let's talk about some boxing. So Deontay Wilder, right? Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua all passed Canelo on the Forbes list. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I've had discussions with with some of my dudes, some of my people. We've had discussions on here with people saying that Canelo is the face of boxing. Canelo is this and Canelo is that. And don't get me wrong, like I'm a Canelo fan. So let's just get that out the way. I'm a Canelo fan. However y'all feel about Canelo, I'm a Canelo fan, right? But we've had discussions, going back and forth on who's the face of boxing, right? And a lot of people say Canelo. And I had an argument one time, and I said Canelo's not the face of boxing anymore since he went to DAZN. I said Canelo's not the face of boxing. I said a lot of times people don't even know Canelo's going to fight no more because it's on DAZN. Canelo was the face of boxing before he went to DAZN. And I'm not talking about besides Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Okay. So when I'm talking, when I'm speaking of the face of boxing, I'm talking about beside besides Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, because both of them got one foot out the door anyway. Floyd Mayweather, he all the way out, and Manny Pacquiao, he got one foot out the door. So anyway, like I said, if you go to Forbes list, Canelo is way behind these guys. Way behind them. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and pull up the numbers. Let's pull up the numbers. And everybody try to act like, oh, Deontay Wilder, he's not making nothing. He's been okay. Okay. So everybody that said that Wilder wasn't making no money and Wilder this and that and Wilder should have signed the DAZN and why did he not take the 120 mil? Okay, look what's going on with DAZN if you don't know. DAZN right now is in they in very hot water. DAZN about damn near done with right now. DAZN is looking for investors because DAZN is out of money. So you think Deontay Wilder would have got that bread? No. Shit, he might have not even got a fight with Anthony Joshua because they couldn't even guarantee him that. So now who's stupid now? Canelo, they ain't even gonna be able to pay Canelo that 360 mil or whatever his contract was. You know what I'm saying? They're not even gonna be able to pay Canelo that 360 mil contract, and they came out and said it. They said they might not even be able to fulfill Canelo's contract, right? Come on. Now, let's go ahead and look at let's look at, and I don't give a damn how many fights it was, because if they had one fight or 10 fights, they still didn't make as much as he did, period. So if you don't fight, how can you make money? I see a lot of y'all talking about, oh, well, he didn't have as many fights and this and that. Okay. So what does that mean? What does that mean? It doesn't matter. You still not making as much as the next man, whether you had a fight or you didn't. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, you still didn't make as much as him. So all of that if ands or if he would have fought this many, well, he didn't fight that many times. Every contract, just like Canelo's contract, it says, okay, we're going to pay you X amount of money for X amount of fights. Well, if you don't ever make it to that many fights, are you ever going to get that payday? No. So make it make sense. Now, let's go ahead and pull up this pull up this list that y'all don't want to see. So, in boxing, at one, we got Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury made $57 million overall. And a lot of this, and this is just from boxing and endorsements, right? So Tyson Fury made from boxing, his salary from his boxing purses was $50 million. He made, right? He made $50 million last year, and from endorsements, he made $7 million, right? So he made $50 million and $7 million from endorsements. So $50 million from boxing. We're not even really gonna talk. Endorsements. So Tyson Fury made $50 million. They have him under for boxing alone. Okay. Anthony Joshua made $36 million from boxing. That was Anthony Joshua. He made $36 million last year. Now, a lot of you saying people that's watching, right, or going to watch later on, right? Y'all was the same people that said Anthony Joshua was making $80 million for the second for the second Andy Ruiz fight, right? For the second Andy Ruiz fight, a lot of you people was the same ones that said Anthony Joshua was making $80 million. You said that. You said Anthony, and I argued you up and down that Anthony Joshua was not making no 80 mil because he said it himself. But you still want to argue, right? You still want to go back and forth and argue and swear up and down that Anthony Joshua was making 80 mil. So where's the 80 mil? Because on Forbes, it says that he made $36 million from his fights last year. 36 mil. That's a long stretch from 80. That's a long stretch from 80. 36 and 80 is far. That's a long 80. So, right, Anthony Joshua made 47 mil. The 11 mil with endorsements, okay? So we're not going to put endorsements in there. Because if we put the endorsements, then we got to go and see how much these guys made from other businesses that they have outside the sport and investments, and we're not going to do all that. We just go from boxing, what they made off of boxing, period. He made 36 mil, all right, in the ring. Right? Okay. So now we're going to go to, so we got Tyson Fury made 50. Tyson Fury made more, from in the ring than any fighter last year. So we got Tyson Fury that made 50. We got Anthony Joshua that made 36 million. And then we have Deontay Wilder that made 46 million. But Deontay Wilder, he only had 500,000 endorsements, right? So that's why they have Deontay Wilder behind Anthony Joshua, because Deontay Wilder made more than Anthony Joshua did in the ring last year. By 10 mil. He made 10 mil more than Anthony Joshua did last year inside of the ring. Right? So really, if you just want to go off of the numbers from, the boxing numbers without endorsements, we got Tyson Fury that's number 1. We got Deontay Wilder that's number 2. They like $3.5 million. They're only 3.5 mil apart. Anthony Joshua is like 10 million apart from them. Anthony Joshua is 10 million less if you just want to go off of straight, boxing purses or whatnot, the salary. So where's the 80 mil? Now, Canelo. Everybody that said Canelo's making more money than everybody, Canelo's the face of boxing. First of all, use your common sense. How? Where the money coming from if the zone numbers are not even good enough for them to come out with the numbers? That should let you know something right there. Why is the zone damn near going bankrupt right now? Why is the zone coming out saying that they're probably not even going to be able to fulfill Canelo's contract and pay him? Why are they looking for investors? Tell me. Now let's go to Canelo. Let's go to Canelo. Canelo way down here. And Canelo made 35 million, right? 35 million off of just his winning salary. 35 million. That's like 11 and 12 million less than Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. So how is Canelo the face of boxing still? When I sit here and I went back and forth with a lot of you telling you that Canelo is no longer the face of boxing ever since they put him on the DAZN app. They should have never put Canelo on the DAZN app. So, it's not no argument no more. It's not a debate. Canelo is no longer the face of boxing. Period. Now, let's go ahead and let me see what y'all talking about. Okay, so Abraham Mel says that's 2 fights he had. Like I said, it don't matter. It don't matter. If they say that they're going to pay you 100 million, say they're going to pay you 100 mil contract, right? For 4 fights, but you only fight 1 time. and they can't never pay you that money because you only fought one time. So what does that mean? It doesn't matter. He's not getting paid. They can tell you anything. They can tell you anything. But at the end of the day, if you with a promoter, they can sit you on the shelf. They can act like they can't get fights for you so they don't have to pay you. Or they can't pay you what they said they was going to pay you because the money and the people, the numbers don't add up. The numbers don't add up. Just like when I try to tell y'all about a lot of these mega fights that you want to see, the numbers just don't add up. So it's not going to happen until the numbers make sense. Abraham Mel, you still in here pleading for Anthony Joshua. Talking about that's just his New York fight. Click on it before you make your look dumb. No, you look like a fucking fool because you in here trying to act like you know more than what fool. Like, well, for Anthony Joshua, see, they only put his New York fight in there. They didn't shut the fuck up. For real. And take that L. But like I said, the whole thing, the whole thing for me even speaking on this is because, like I said, I was debating with people before, trying to tell them that Canelo's not the face of boxing no more. And he's not. The face of boxing is in the heavyweight division. Period. Manuel Mancia says, I agree with you, but per fight, Canelo's making more. If Canelo fights in May, he would have gone over 70 mil, but I agree with about not fighting. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole bunch of ifs, ands, or buts. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, but at the end of the day, right? What's a fact? What's going to be a fact is they're not going to be able to fulfill that 360 mil or whatever contract that they that Canelo has. They're not going to be able to pay him, and they're going to want to get out of that contract because the numbers don't add up. It's not enough people watching on DAZN or subscribing to DAZN to pay Canelo 30 mil plus a fight. It's just not. It's not there. And why they did something that's stupid, shit, I don't know. Why would you do something that's stupid? And I mean, that's Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, shit. Not even Eddie Hearn. That was shit. De La Hoya and DAZN. DAZN, they made that stupid decision. World Combat Sports says, no, he didn't earn 80 mil. They love ballooning his pockets. Yeah, they do. They were swearing up and down that he was getting 80 mil. Even, and the funny thing about this, even after Anthony Joshua did an interview and he said, I don't know where people get 80 mil from. He says, I hope to even just get, 30% of that 80 mil. He said, I don't know where this is coming from. He says, but no, I'm not making 80 mil, right? He came out and said that. Told you all he wasn't making 80 mil. He didn't know where it was coming from. I mean, we all know Eddie Hearn to come out and say anything, right? Anthony Joshua himself told you that, right? But then you still want to come on here and argue back and forth and say that he made 80 mil and he was making 80 mil for the Andrew Ruiz fight in Saudi Arabia or wherever they had it. Yeah, so don't make no sense. Let me see. But like I said, Canelo's not the face of boxing because people not tuning in to DAZN just to see Canelo. People, it's not millions of people subscribing to DAZN just to see Canelo fight. It ain't happening. Like I said, once they took Canelo off of pay-per-view, they messed up because Canelo had a whole country support him. Why would you put him on an app? They got a whole country supporting him. You think all the people over there in Mexico that will support him is going to go buy a DAZN app and pay $20 a month or pay $100 a year? Come on, man. Wilder, you said Conan McKay says Wilder lost to Fury twice. Show me, pull up box record, show me where Wilder lost to Fury twice. Show me where Wilder lost to Fury twice. Brandon House says it's like getting a job for $100K a year and then they lay you off in 3 months. You get what you work for. $30K, that's it. Exactly. Please say that again, Brandon. They talking about what? Oh, well, Canelo is because he didn't fight. No, it doesn't matter. Just like my man Brandon House said, it's like getting a job for $100K a year and then they lay you off 3 months after that. You only get what you work for, $30K. Words don't mean shit. It's about what action is taking place. You can tell me, oh, we're going to pay this man $500 million, for 2 fights. But if he don't ever get in the ring to fight either one of those fights, what does it matter? Did he get paid? Is he still the highest paid? No, he's not. He didn't get paid and he's still not the highest paid. Because, like I said, he didn't get in the ring. It don't matter. If we could if, ands, or buts all day. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to go, if we want to take it, there, Canelo not going to get paid like that from DAZN. They're not going to be able to fulfill that contract that they promised him. So whatever they have to do, whatever Canelo has to do to get his money from DAZN, it's going to be a long time, and they're going to have to go to court and battle or whatever they have to do. But Canelo not going to see no 360 or whatever the contract he signed for, because the numbers just don't add up. They ran out there thinking that DAZN and this app was going to do all these big numbers. Oh, if we get Canelo, and then Triple G, here another one. You pay Triple G all that money. Come on now. Ain't nobody checking for Triple G. Nobody even talks about Triple G. And you went out and paid him $100 million plus? For what? To fight a bunch of Steve Rolls? Really? That shit don't make no sense to me. But hey, that's their problem. Brett, let me see. Conan McKay says Canelo versus Eubank Jr. Canelo beat the shit out of Eubank Jr. Canelo will beat the dog shit out of Eubank Jr. Eubank Jr. is not even on that level. And I like Eubank Jr., but he's not on Canelo's level. Brandon House says even if he fought one of those fights, he still didn't get the $500 million. Exactly. You see? Exactly. Conan McKay says, us Brits, some fights are free. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, the British people, boxing is way up there on the high in the UK. In America, boxing ain't shit in America. Americans don't support boxing like the UK fans do. So if you want to talk about the face of boxing in America, it's Deontay Wilder, period. If you want to talk about the face of boxing in the UK, I would still say, Anthony Joshua. It's between Anthony Joshua. It's between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury, his star power has went up amazingly ever since he, got the victory over Deontay Wilder. Let me see. So I mean, hey, but overall, the face of boxing, you got an argument. Overall, the face of boxing, it's either between Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and I would say Anthony Joshua would be behind those two guys right now. But it's between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, if you ask me, right? And if you ask me, if you want to just go by who's talked about more, who's hated and talked about, and I say hated because we seen what the Floyd Mayweather effect. The most hated fighter is usually gonna be the face of boxing, right? And Deontay Wilder's the most hated, and he's the most talked about. And if Deontay Wilder fight anybody, more people gonna tune in than if Tyson Fury go and fight, somebody else besides Wilder or Anthony Joshua. Period. Just because they hate the man so much. Brandon House says, in America, some of our fights are free. He says, look at Charlo versus Harrison. Could have easily been on pay-per-view in America. Yeah. That was a pay-per-view fight, by far. But see, the thing in America is they wouldn't have paid for it a lot of, they wouldn't have got big pay-per-view numbers because you only got your handful of people in America that can really go on pay-per-view and do, big numbers. You got Deontay Wilder, of course. You got Errol Spence, of course. And as proven, Tank might be able to do it, you know what I'm saying? Depending on who he fight. But other than that, I mean, that's really it right now, as far as pay-per-view. Brandon House says the most hated and still the most feared. That's facts. So Conan McKay says Jose Ramirez is next. As far as the start, he also said Josh Taylor. I like both of them guys. I like Jose Ramirez and I like Josh Taylor. I don't know. I'm not in the UK, so I don't know how big of a star that Josh Taylor is over there in the UK. But as far as Jose Ramirez is not a big star over here in the US. I like Jose Ramirez though. Cool dude. Jose Ramirez is a hella cool. I got to meet him, met him, chopped it up with him for a little bit. He's a hella cool, down to earth cat, and he could fight his ass off. The man could fight his ass off. And Jose Ramirez is actually a lot bigger in person than what he looked like, in the ring. He's pretty big. Jose Ramirez is actually a very big 140 pounder. Jose Ramirez is like 5'10". Jose Ramirez is a very big 140 pounder. Conan McKay says that Josh Taylor's the number one fighter in Scotland. I believe it. Josh Taylor's another one. Fight his ass off. Brandon House says Rougarou need to rematch with Taylor. He figured him out. I like to see it, but Brandon House, I'm gonna let you know. I wouldn't bet on that fight. I bet on Rougarou the first time, and Josh Taylor, he showed me something, man. To me, Josh Taylor won that fight clearly, and Josh Taylor showed me something. He showed me that if Regis Prograis get in the ring with Josh Taylor again, it's a lot of things that he gonna have to work on and fix. Because Josh Taylor is a fucking beast. And I love Regis Prograis, but Josh Taylor, he was just better to me all around that night. He was better to me all around that night. Yeah, Brandon House says Jose Ramirez is the Jared Hurd of the 140 pound. Yeah, man, that dude is big. I'm telling you, and I never knew that Jose Ramirez was that big until I met him in person. But he cool dude, hella down to earth, cool dude. I always support Jose Ramirez, hella cool cat. Yeah, so let's move along because, like I said, I ain't gonna be on here for long tonight. Roy Jones. Let's talk about Roy Jones. Okay, I'm watching the interview and I seen Roy Jones. And Roy Jones, he says that Holyfield and Mike Tyson can get it. He says for the right amount of money, he'll get in the ring against Holyfield or Mike Tyson. Right? For the right amount of money, my man Roy Jones Jr. To me, this is just me personally. I wouldn't alive to see Sugar Ray Robinson. I don't know. I know some of the guys that Sugar Ray Robinson fought, but I don't know who they fought and who they fought. So I'm just speaking, in my lifetime and before my lifetime. To me, Roy Jones Jr. is the best pound for pound fighter in his prime. So prime for prime, pound for pound, best that I've ever seen in the ring. Way better than Floyd, way better than any of these guys, pound for pound in his prime, right? Roy Jones. The Roy Jones that if you don't count the loss that he had against the disqualification loss that he had against what's his name? I don't know why I can't think of his name. The disqualification that Roy Jones suffered to what's his name, man? When he hit dude while he was when he knocked dude down and then hit him when he went to the ground. The disqualification loss. Now it's bothering me. I don't know why I can't remember that man's name. Why I can't remember his name. Not Antonio Tarver. The disqualification loss that he suffered. What was it, like 97? Back in like 97. What? Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. I don't know why I can't remember the dude's name. Montel Griffith. Yeah, Lawrence Williams. I appreciate that. Montel Griffith. Dave Henry Jr. off in the building. I see you. Yeah. Before, okay, not counting that disqualification loss that Roy Jones suffered to Montel Griffith, because Montel Griffith was done. You know what I'm saying? Montel Griffith, even if he had a guy back up and made that 10 count, Roy Jones was going to get him up out of there. And Roy Jones showed that when he had the rematch and got Montel Griffith up out of there quick, fast, and in a hurry. You know what I'm saying? Hit him with that uppercut, from hell. But like I said, anyway, not counting the loss that Roy Jones had to Montel Griffith, right? Y'all got to understand, Roy Jones went from, if you don't count that disqualification bullshit, Roy Jones went from 1988, 89, all the way to 2000 and what? What was it, 2003 or 2004, when he lost, all the way to 2004 when he lost to when he suffered that defeat to Antonio Tarver, right? That's 15 years he went undefeated. 15 years, right? He went undefeated for 15 years. If you don't count that loss, Roy Jones is 49-0. Going into that loss, when he finally suffered a loss against Antonio Tarver, and the reason that Roy Jones was never the same after that is because he went all the way up to heavyweight, put on like 20 pounds of muscle, and then in 5 or 6 months, he dropped down from. See, people don't do shit like that. He only took 5 months off and dropped down and fought Tarver, and then came back and fought Tarver again, right? People don't do shit like that. And so when you talk about Roy Jones, to me, pound for pound, is the greatest fighter that's ever stepped in the ring that I've seen. Like I said, I can't speak on Sugar Ray Robinson because, and I'm not going to speak on Sugar Ray Robinson and all them dudes from way back then. I'm talking about we going to go from the 70s through to all the way up until now. So yes, to me, pound for pound, Roy Jones was way better than Floyd, right? Roy Jones was doing shit that he was doing shit in the ring that we've never seen any fighter to this day do in the ring. Never. We've never seen no fighter to this day do the things that Roy Jones was doing in the ring. So to me, like I said, that's just my opinion. He's the best ever pound for pound, prime for prime, in his prime fighter to ever step in the ring. So Roy Jones says that Mike Tyson can get it and Evander Holyfield can get it for the right amount of money. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, Roy Jones, you know, he's younger than both of them. I think he's only maybe 2 years younger than Mike Tyson. He's a lot younger than Evander Holyfield. Do you think? And he's been active, and he's been active a lot more recent than Holyfield and Tyson have, right? Tyson been out of the ring, you know, over 15 years. Holyfield has been out of the ring for a very long time himself, right? So do you think because Roy Jones Jr. has been active a lot more recently than Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson, do you think that Roy Jones could have a chance to get in the ring and beat Evander Holyfield or Mike Tyson at the age that they all are right now? What y'all think about that? Because they all heavyweights. You know, Roy Jones only fought at heavyweight one time when he won the title and dropped back down, but they all are heavyweights. Conan McKay says, come on, they all retired. Conan, I feel you, right? I feel you that you know, even talking about this, but they talking about it. So if anything does happen, what y'all see? Do y'all see that, you know, what y'all think about that? Y'all think Roy Jones could get in the ring and compete with Mike Tyson and Holyfield, or even beat, you know, one of those guys or both of them? Brandon House says if he was passionate about it, it wouldn't be about the money as much. If he know he can dust them, he know it's a high risk. I can't really say that, Brandon, because this is the thing. When you that old and you've accomplished everything that Roy Jones have accomplished, also Mike Tyson, also Holyfield, right? When you've accomplished that and you that old, it has to be about the money. It got to be about the money because your career is already done. All your accomplishments are already set in stone. You in the Hall of Fame, you know, going to the Hall of Fame. So it has to be about the money because anything else, if they just doing it just to do it, what's the point? I think that would be, you know, ignorant just to do it. Now it got to be about the money, and it got to be a high purse. Excuse me. Conan McKay says Tyson still has one round. Roy, he says so does Roy. Lombros Kula says Roy Jones goes the distance. The others need a KO. He says his conditioning is on point. Plus would any of them be on PEDs? That's the thing. Would any of them be on PEDs? I don't know. I think they would have in order for. I think, you know, even though it'll probably only be an exhibition, 4 rounds or something like that. In order for anything like that to take place, I think that they need the same type of extensive drug testing that they do, you know, with the WBC and IBF and the rest of these organizations. You know, Brandon House says, man, come on, man, Holyfield fighting on exhibition and risking getting knocked out for a cause. Nah, man, if Holyfield fights a exhibition, right, Brandon House, If Holyfield fights an exhibition and he's in a situation to where he's in the ring with anybody that has any chance of knocking him out, he's going to be for a whole lot of money. If Holyfield fights an exhibition, right, and get in the ring for the cause, it's going to be against a celebrity or somebody that has no chance of putting hands on him and knocking him out. So that's two different things. I've seen so that's two different. Holyfield, I believe Holyfield has gotten in the ring and done an exhibition years ago, but it wasn't in there with nobody that had a chance of, even competing with him in the ring. It was some celebrity shit. Same thing with Mike Tyson. I've even actually seen Roy Jones in the exhibition live. Roy Jones, what was it, back in probably like 2015, I believe. Roy Jones, he was doing this thing where he was paying fans, fans that had, a fighting background, whether it was an MMA fighting background, a boxing background, something like that, right? He was giving them a chance to basically compete with him, to where he would pay him a certain amount of money if they can beat him. And you think any of them dudes got in there and was able to compete with Roy Jones? Hell no, he stopped all of them easily. And I seen one of them live. And the dude that he fought was an athlete. He was a fighter. But he wasn't on Roy's level. Brandon House says, out of all three, I think Tyson takes the cake. Henry Gomez off in the building. What's good with it? I don't know. And if you're in the building, hit my like button and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Everything Boxing and Sports. Everything Boxing and Sports. And yeah. And I don't know. A lot of people are saying that Tyson can do this and Tyson will do that because what they saw Tyson on the mitts. So if you guys see a clip with Roy Jones on the mitts looking lightning fast like he did in the 90s, are y'all gonna keep that same energy with Roy Jones and say, oh well, he can come back and he can beat this guy and this guy? I don't know, but you might be right, Brandon. As far as Tyson, he might be, because he still got the power. You feel me? He still got the power. I don't think he still got speed nowhere near like what he had, but he still has the power. And I don't know, man. I would have to see Tyson in the ring, like I said, because the last times we saw Tyson in the ring, he looked burnt out. So you can't hit no mitts and then, have me sold. I'm not sold off of seeing you hit mitts because I know what that's all about. Brandon House says, I don't know, man. I don't know where money at. Brandon House says, you saw George Foreman at 48. Yeah, but George Foreman was active. You feel me? George Foreman took a long layoff and came back, and George Foreman was active. These guys are all in their 50s, right? The only fighter that's even close to being active is Roy Jones. This real shit. The only fighter that's even close to being active is Roy Jones, because, like I said, Tyson Fury has been out the ring. I mean, not Tyson Fury. Mike Tyson has been out the ring for well over 15 years, and he was washed up and burnt out, you know what I'm saying, before he retired. Holyfield has been out the ring for a very long time himself, and Holyfield is damn near 60. Holyfield older than all these guys. I think Holyfield might be like 57. Roy Jones is 52. Mike Tyson is about to be 54 in a few weeks, right? So it's a lot different than what George Foreman went through, because George Foreman, was an active fighter. George Foreman was an active fighter at that stage in his career still. So it's different, Roy Jones, Brandon House says Roy Jones got the youth. He says, but it's a different type of grown man strength, bro. Yeah. We all know, like, I don't doubt that. Mike Tyson can land one punch or land, a few punches. Anybody can. But if Roy Jones can take them punches when Mike Tyson burn out, and he's going to burn out, what's going to happen? So we don't know. That's why I said we don't know. I think it would be, I don't know. I don't really, as far as these guys in the ring against each other in the 4-round, 5-round exhibition, 6-round exhibition, or whatever it may be, I think that's entertaining. I don't have a problem seeing it. I don't want to see any of these guys in the ring with none of these, top heavyweights or none of these active fighters, period, because they're going to get hurt. And for anybody that think that Roy Jones, Evander Holyfield, or Mike Tyson have any chance in getting in the ring with any of these heavyweights, y'all crazy. They're going to get hurt. Each and every one of them will get hurt bad. Anthony Bulldog Adams says Mike on that good marijuana. That's why he believes he can come back. Hey man, he might be on that. He might be on that powder again too. But yeah, Mike, man, and like I said, Mike on something. He on that real good shit. But see, that's the thing. Mike Tyson. Everybody kind of blew up that story because I actually seen Mike Tyson talk about it. And Mike Tyson, had said that he would never come back and try to get in the ring with one of these, fighters of now, active fighters. He said that if he did get in the ring, it'd be something like an exhibition, some type of exhibition. Mike Tyson know he can't get in the ring and compete with no Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, or whoever it may be. That shit is just ignorant for anybody to think that, I don't see how this is even a topic of conversation, right? People going back and forth debating if Mike Tyson can beat Deontay Wilder, if Mike Tyson can beat Tyson Fury, if Mike Tyson can beat any of these top heavyweights. That shit crazy to me. Very crazy. Conan McKay says, come on, bro. Nobody beat the old school champs. They doing it for charity. Yeah, I mean, they doing it for their own bread too. Like I said, if they can make a whole bunch of money, don't think they're gonna give all that shit to charity. Don't believe that. Conan McKay says, what's the point of all these fighters are old? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if people are willing to pay for it to see, and they can hype it up and get people hype about it, they'll do it. Dayton Henry Jr. says it will be interesting. He says Roy would have the better reflexes, but Tyson have the devastating power. He says that could end bad for Roy, who has taken some bad knockout losses. Yeah, I feel you. I agree with you, but then I want to say like this. Roy Jones has been hit a lot more recently, right? Roy Jones has been hit by, let me see when the last time Roy Jones had a fight in the cruiserweight division, a meaningful fight in the cruiserweight division, right? Let me look it up. When was the last time Roy Jones had a meaningful fight in the cruiserweight division? Because I know he's lost. Okay, so it's been 5 years. He fought Enzo Marcinelli. He fought Enzo, and I think Enzo was a devastating KO puncher. And I remember watching that fight about 5 years ago, 2015. Roy was actually doing very well and winning that fight until he got caught up in the corner and got knocked out, right? Roy Jones got caught up in the corner and got knocked out, right? He got trapped in the corner and he got knocked out, but he was winning that fight, but as I remember, before he got KO'd. So when Roy Jones and that dude, I guarantee you, You know, that dude hit harder than Mike Tyson can right now. The guy that Roy Jones last fought in the cruiserweight division, Enzo, he hits harder than Mike Tyson does right now. But that's 5 years ago. That's still 5 years ago. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. If Roy still got that speed in his reflexes and he let his hands go, he could beat Tyson. He could beat Tyson because Tyson's not used to that he's not used to getting hit. He's not used to, you know, having to time his opponent. He's not used to that. Tyson ain't fought in well over 15 years. And when Tyson was fighting, like, this is the thing. When Tyson was fighting, right? When he was much younger, way younger, over 15 years ago when he was fighting, right? Tyson wasn't no good then. All that power that Tyson had didn't do him no good because he was washed up. So you can't tell me anything to tell me that Tyson is going to come back 15, 16 years later in his mid 50s and be better than he was when he left the ring. You can't convince me that. Brandon House says, you know, these cats started as heavyweight. Word grew into it. It's levels to this shit. You might as well give Canelo credit as a light heavyweight. No, I'm not saying that. My thing is we all know that Roy Jones is no heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? But Roy Jones was fighting in cruiserweight, like really competing at a high level at cruiserweight for years, right? And Roy Jones, that's all I'm saying is he's younger and he's been more active. He's been a lot more active. You seeing Mike Tyson just getting the ring. I mean, just starting to train again. Mike Tyson wasn't training all of these years, sparring and hit, you know, and hitting heavy bags and mitts. He wasn't doing none of that shit. Roy was, because Roy has been active ever since, you know, up until recently. Now, I'm not saying who would win because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I would have to at least see them spar, you know. But I know I would expect Roy Jones to be much sharper than Holyfield or Tyson. I saw Holyfield. He didn't look impressive at all to me. He looked slow, but I don't know. It could have just been the way that he was training. So also, let's go ahead and get it. Also, on top of that, another thing I want to talk about is my man's Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz, he came out and he spoke of Mike Tyson. Luis Ortiz says that he ready and willing to fight anybody. He says all he needs them to do is send the contract and sign the papers. And he said Mike Tyson can get it too. Luis Ortiz says he ready to fight anybody in boxing, and if Mike Tyson want it, Mike Tyson can get it too. This is what Luis King Kong Ortiz had to say, right? He said anybody can get it, including Mike Tyson, if he want it. Now, let me see. You said Brandon House says, do I think Tank will beat Errol when they get in their 50s? What does that have to do with? I don't understand what that has to do with anything that with the topic at hand. If Tank will beat Errol when they get in their 50s, I mean, that doesn't, what does that mean? I mean, if Errol Spence if Errol Spence been sitting on the couch for 20 years and Tank been active up until his 40s, yeah, I do. But I mean, what does that have to do with I mean, I don't know what that has to do with, you know, anything. But yeah. So Luis Ortiz, he said anybody can get it. He said, ain't nobody excluded. He said, even Mike Tyson. Now, you said now Louise would give them a run for their money, Brandon. Clarify what you mean for a run for their money, because if you ask me, Luis Ortiz will beat the dog shit out of Holyfield, Roy Jones, and Tyson, and he'll do it all in the same night. Yeah, Tank Gang Grip. Yeah, RIP to George Floyd. We talked about that. On the live, man. You might be in the beginning. You might be watching this from the beginning. But yeah, RIP once again to George Floyd. But yeah, Luis Ortiz, to me, he killing all of them in the same night. None of them dudes can go more than 1 or 2 rounds at max with Luis Ortiz right now. And it's crazy that people try to say that Luis Ortiz is the same age as them. So, well, if you think that he's the same age as them, step in the ring with him. But I wouldn't even want to see that. I got love for Mike Tyson. Roy Jones is my favorite all time, along with Evander Holyfield. Roy Jones and Evander Holyfield are 2 of my favorite all time fighters. So I would never want to see them get in the ring with Luis Ortiz right now. He would get murdered. Hey, Brandon House says Luis they age anyway. Hey, like I said, if he's saying that, hey, get in the ring and have smoke with him. But I wouldn't even want to see that shit. Like I wouldn't get no enjoyment out of seeing Luis Ortiz, put one of these dudes in a coma. Right? I wouldn't get no enjoyment out of that. Conan McKay says Luis Ortiz versus Dillian White. Dillian White don't want no smoke with Luis Ortiz. He's ducked Luis Ortiz plenty of times. Brandon Hausler says Luis or Roy. No, Luis Ortiz will kill Roy Jones Jr., Evander Holyfield, and Mike Tyson all in the same night. Straight up. But Luis Ortiz versus Dillian White, it's going to be very hard for Luis Ortiz to ever get a fight with Dillian White. And Dillian White is not going to fight Luis Ortiz until he knows that Luis Ortiz is dried up and washed up and basically out of the sport. You know what I'm saying? Basically ready to hang it up and out of the sport. Because Dillian White been ducking Luis Ortiz for years, and he's going to continue to duck Luis Ortiz until he sees that Luis Ortiz don't have nothing left in the tank. And from what we saw with Luis Ortiz when his last fight and his last fights with Deontay Wilder, when Luis Ortiz get in shape and he take this shit serious, he got a lot left in the tank. And it don't matter how old y'all think he is or saying he is. You know what I'm saying? But if he that old, why are people ducking him? Get in the ring, just like Deontay Wilder said, get in the ring and beat his old ass then if you can do it. Simple as that. Luis Ortiz versus Andrew Ruiz was supposed to happen, right? Before all of this pandemic stuff started, right? Luis Ortiz and Andrew Ruiz, they were trying to negotiate for them to fight each other in August, I believe, right? Andy Ruiz, he backed out of it, saying that he didn't want to fight Luis Ortiz because he needed a warm-up. And I'm like, you need a warm-up? Both of y'all just had fights, and both of y'all took L's. Why you need a warm-up and he don't need a warm-up, and he's supposed to be 50 or 60 years old like y'all like to say. So that shit don't make sense. Luis Ortiz is still ducked by many of these fighters. Logic says think Wilder should have fought White being as White was number one contender, did Ortiz deserve the Wilder fight more than number one ranked White? Yeah, he actually did, because if you go back and you look at you go back to your history, right? Nobody was checking for Dillian White at the time when everybody was saying that Wilder was afraid to fight Luis Ortiz. You forgetting about that, right? Wilder fought Luis Ortiz, one, because nobody else would fight him. Anthony Joshua had ducked him. Dillian White had ducked him. And Conan McKay, you can't say Dillian White ducked nobody, because Dillian White ducked Luis Ortiz. Right? Do I got to go back to the timeline and break it down? Dillian White ducked Luis Ortiz on several occasions. On several occasions, Dillian White refused to fight Luis Ortiz. But he was the same man that was talking about how old he was, but wouldn't fight him. These are facts. It's not a debate. These are facts. Now, Logic said, okay, now back to what I was saying, right? When I was saying, because he's saying that Dillian White deserved to fight Deontay Wilder more than Luis Ortiz. And I'm saying, no, he didn't. Because people were saying that Deontay Wilder was afraid to fight Luis Ortiz, that he wouldn't fight him, right? And another reason that Deontay Wilder fought Luis Ortiz is because nobody wanted to fight Luis Ortiz. Everybody was ducking him. Nobody wanted that smoke. So he stepped up. He showed, my nuts is bigger than all y'all's, and I'll go ahead and fight him since nobody else want to fight him. Right? Period. Plain and simple. Now, going back to Dillian White and Luis Ortiz. Going back to Dillian White and Luis Ortiz. Deontay Wilder told Dillian White that, okay, look, I will fight you, Dillian White. I will sign the contract and fight you. Bring the contract, I'll sign it and fight you. All you got to do is fight Luis Ortiz first, because Luis Ortiz has been trying to fight you for the longest time, and you keep refusing to fight Luis Ortiz. So if you want to fight me so bad, bring the contract. I'll sign it, but in that contract, you got to fight Luis Ortiz first, and then you beat Luis Ortiz, and I'll fight you, Dillian White. Dillian White, the same man that was always talking about how old Luis Ortiz was, and what happened? Once again, he refused to fight Luis Ortiz. So Dillian White didn't deserve shit, because Dillian White did not want to fight Luis Ortiz. The same man that he was swearing up and down was old as dirt. These are facts. It ain't no argument. Dayton Henry Jr. says Dillian White is fighting Povetkin. He says he should send Ruiz a big offer. Andrew Ruiz and Dillian White, I don't have no problem with that. I don't want to see no Povetkin. It's like Povetkin is like, it's crazy, because Povetkin is like that old hoe that everybody run through. Everybody get a chance at old Povetkin. You know what I'm saying? Povetkin is like that old washed up prostitute that everybody get a chance to run through. That's Povetkin. That old washed up prostitute that everybody gonna get their chance to run through. That's Povetkin. Like, why are these guys still fight Povetkin? Everybody. Oh, okay, well, you go ahead and fight Povetkin. Oh, well, fight Povetkin. No, you fight Povetkin. You fight Povetkin. Oh, you get a chance to fight Povetkin too. Oh, you ain't got no fight. Oh, you can fight Povetkin. Oh, you don't want to fight this guy? Fight Povetkin. Oh, you ducking this guy? Go ahead and fight Povetkin. Everybody run through him. Everybody, for real. Everybody gets to run through Povetkin. Everybody. Oh, you ain't got nobody? Oh, you ain't. You ain't had no fight. Okay, go ahead and fight Povetkin. You want a chance with Povetkin? Oh, you get your chance with Povetkin too. Oh, you over there? Oh, you too. It's like Eddie Hearn got everybody running through Povetkin. If you under Eddie Hearn, if you under Matchroom or DAZN, everybody get their chance with Povetkin. Just run through Povetkin. Logic says if Wilder loses third Fury fight, where does he go from there? I'm not even gonna say he's not going to lose, but I mean, just to answer your question, to answer your question, because that's my opinion. Everybody got their own opinion. I mean, where does he go from there? I mean, look at the heavyweight division. Look at the heavyweight division. You got up and coming heavyweights. You still got you got a whole lot of fighters in the heavyweight division that he can fight. So I mean, a third loss, a third fight, I mean, two losses on your record does not say, oh, you have to just go ahead and retire. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's not going to lose again. But to answer your question even more, if he does suffer another defeat, that could just be Tyson Fury. Like, some fighters just have your number. You know what I'm saying? It could just be Tyson Fury. Like, okay, well, I could beat everybody else. I just can't fuck with Tyson Fury. But do I believe he will lose again? No. And do I believe that Tyson Fury cheated? Yes. But that's a whole different discussion. But to answer your question, that doesn't, him having another loss on his record, doesn't say, oh, okay, well, it's time for him to hang it up because he lost twice to one guy, right? Not like you lost to several different guys to one guy. So nah. He says, Logic says, what fight that I'm looking for? Yeah, Brandon House also says Dubois. Yeah, Daniel Dubois been calling out Wilder. And it's crazy. Before I get to your question, Logic, it's crazy that you bring up Daniel Dubois, right? Because I've been on here, right? And I've been saying before, the Wilder Fury fight took place and all of that, right? I was on here and I said, everybody, Daniel Dubois is going to be the guy that comes up and give Deontay Wilder a run for his money. I said, I don't see him beating Wilder, no time soon. But I said, Daniel Dubois is going to be the guy that's coming up to give Wilder, that's going to be the most dangerous to give Wilder a run for his money. I still believe that, and Daniel Dubois is going to be a problem. I still believe that. Daniel Dubois is going to be a problem. But at the end of the day, I'm picking Wilder over everybody. Period. You know what I'm saying? I'm sticking to that. But Daniel Dubois is going to be a problem. But Daniel Dubois is going to have a very hard time getting fights because a lot of these heavyweights, they not going to fight Daniel Dubois. Wilder will. Wilder take any smoke. Wilder built different. But a lot of these heavyweights, like, you think you're going to see Anthony Joshua get in the ring with Daniel Dubois? No, it ain't going to happen. As far as Tyson Fury, I don't think Tyson Fury is even going to stay in the sport long enough to be able to, for Daniel Dubois to be able to fight him, So I don't even think Tyson Fury is even going to be in the sport long enough for Daniel Dubois to fight him. So a lot of these dudes is going to run from Daniel Dubois, right? Straight up. Logic says, not suggesting Wilder retire. Agree some fighters got others' numbers. He says, a la Vernon Forrest and Shane Mosley. Yeah, true. That's true. Dubois versus Joe Joyce. That's one fight that I was really looking forward to because I was looking forward to Dubois putting Joe Joyce in a body bag because Daniel Dubois was going to body bag Joe Joyce. You know what I'm saying? Joe Joyce was going to get the dog shit beat out of him and knocked out by Daniel Dubois. And that was a fight that was supposed to happen in April, I believe. Yeah, it was supposed to take place in April. I don't know what's going on with that fight. I haven't heard anything about, about what's going to happen if they still going to have that fight sometime later this year or sometime next year. But that's a fight I'll be looking forward to. Conan says, give us UK some credit. Oh, I got love for the UK. I give y'all hella credit. Like I said, I just taught you Daniel Dubois is from the UK, right? I give you the UK got the best fans in the world, hands down, period. I wish that that over here in America we have fans like UK for boxing. Because boxing would be much, much bigger if our fans was like the UK fans. I don't got no beef with the UK. Y'all say some crazy shit, and be hella biased when it comes towards your fighters. A lot of y'all don't want to keep it real when it comes, to y'all fighters. But hey, I respect the UK and they fans straight up. Dan Henry Jr. says tables will turn. He says tables will turn next fight. He says Fury had nothing to lose in the first two fights. He has everything to lose in the third fight because he is the top guy. He's the top fighter in the world now. Yeah. Joe Joyce is trash though. I mean, I don't want to say he's trash because he's tough. He's tough as nails, and he's very, very active. He come in shape. He throw a whole lot of punches, but he do not have no defense. He don't have defense, and he don't have the best boxing skills. But he tough. But he gonna get his ass whooped when he step in the ring with my boy Daniel Dubois. Brandon House says Fury about to go to WWE. He a character. I don't know what Fury do, but I don't see Fury in the sport for too much longer. He's even said it himself. He said himself he's not going to be in the sport for too much longer. Lombros Kulo says Tony Yoka is another beast coming up. Yeah, he another beast. It's another beast in the heavyweight division coming up. He's Hargrove. I think he's from damn, what country is he from? It's this big ass tall white dude from another country. I think his name is Hargrove or something like that. Man, that dude's a beast. He tall as hell too. I think he bigger than Wilder is. I can't think of his name right off the bat, but he's a beast. He up and coming too. Knockout artist. Brandon House says they threw brownies at Arrow. He says UK fans are the best. Hey, imagine if the American fans was as passionate as the UK fans. Man, that shit would be lit. And don't get me wrong, it should be lit. Hargrove, Hargrove. That's what I'm talking about. That guy, that dude's a beast. He coming up too. I can't. He from one of the foreign countries, like Germany or somewhere like that, Czechoslovakia or one of them countries like that. But dude's a beast. Philip Hargrove. Yeah, Philip Hargrove. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Philip Hargrove. I think I'm saying Hargrove or whatever. But yeah, that dude is a beast. Y'all go check for him. He up and coming too. The heavyweight division's back, and it's gonna get more stacked. The heavyweight division is gonna get better and better. Can I admit that Brits have the best fights? I ain't gonna say all of that. Y'all have the most fights probably. Y'all put together a lot of cards, but I ain't gonna say y'all have the best fights. I ain't gonna go that far, Conan. Okay, that guy says he's from Croatia. I knew it was somewhere like that. Yeah. Philip Hargrove from Croatia, he's a beast. Philip Hargrove from Croatia is a beast. So like I said, you got him, you got Daniel Dubois, you got F.A. Ajagba. Although F.A. Ajagba, I've seen I don't know. I wouldn't pick him against any of them three dudes right now. Any of them three fighters right now, I would pick all of those three fighters to beat to beat F.A. Jagba right now. That's just my opinion. Logic says, do you think Danny G is deserving of a title fight with Spence? He says bigger fight. He says will be Spence Thurman or other than Spence Crawford or Pac. No, I don't think he deserve it, but I think he deserve an ass beating from Spence. So on one hand, no, I don't think he deserve it because you lose to Sean Porter, you lose to Thurman, and then you deserve a fight with Errol Spence. Fuck no, you don't deserve a fight with Errol Spence, but you deserve an ass whooping because you was ducking him for years and talking shit. You was talking shit and ducking. So I can't respect the fact that you always had a whole lot of negative shit to say about this man, but then when he would call you out to fight, you didn't want no parts of it. Don't talk shit over the phone and then run when I see you. You dig? So yeah, he don't deserve it, but he deserve an ass beating. That's the reason it's gonna be a highly anticipated fight because Danny Garcia has been talking a lot of shit for years. Brandon House says, who you think beat Canelo first, Callum or Saunders? Neither one. Neither one of them can beat Canelo. First of all, Billy Joe Saunders, he ain't shit. When he's off of them PEDs, Billy Joe Saunders is not shit. And Callum Smith, who he beat? He ain't beat nobody. To you say that he has a chance of beating Canelo. That size, Canelo has too many tools in his bag to let that size bother him like that. You got to be a fighter that, you know, and Billy Joe Sanders can box very good, but Billy Joe Sanders look like shit when he's not on PEDs. You got to be a fighter like Demetrius Dudu Andrade to give Canelo problems. You got to be very fast, you got to be slick, and you got to be hard to hit and be able to box well and have a good jab to beat Canelo. Neither Callum Smith or Billy Joe Saunders can beat Canelo. Now Big Charlo, Brandon House, that's a different story. Big Charlo will be a much tougher test than any of those guys for Canelo because Big Charlo, he got a jab, he big as fuck, he's athletic, he's strong, he's powerful, and you know he can match, he could go with Canelo. That's a fight that I would love to see. But Billy Joe Sanders, yeah, he looked great in a couple fights when he was on them PEDs, but when he got popped, he ain't looked like shit since. Logic says the only fighter he think give Canelo problem is Andrade due to his style. I don't disagree with that, but I think that I also think that Big Charlo gives him a problem too, and I could be wrong. But I think that Big Charlo gives him a problem too. Bro, I'm not hating on the Brits, like I said, but you guys do not put on the best fights. You don't. Name me one fight that you put on that was better okay, name me one fight that you put on that was better than Sean Porter versus Spence. One. Brandon House says, yeah, Charlo forearms is big as fuck. With that jab, Canelo never had a fighter coming forward and don't let him off that don't let off the gas. Yeah, you're right. And like I said, man, and we know Big Charlo, he step up in big fights, you know. Styles make fights, and that will be a great style matchup. Canelo and Golden Boy, they not refusing to fight Charlo all these years for no reason. Conan says Froch versus Groves. Yeah, Froch versus Groves was a good fight, but how long ago was the Froch versus Groves fight? I'm talking about as in recent times, name one fight that y'all had over in the UK that was better than Spence versus Porter. You can't go all the way back to Frost versus Groves. Because if we do that, then I got to go back. You know what I'm saying? We can go back and forth all night. We can't do that. Mr. Finesse, salute to you, my brother. What's good? Logic says unified Charlo puts more pressure on Canelo than Charlo, who has yet to fight top 10 middleweight. I can't say that. Wait, you said unified Charlo puts more pressure on Canelo than Charlo, who has yet to fight top 10 middleweight. I don't know. You gotta rewrite that. I didn't understand that. My thoughts on Floyd taking Haney under his wing and dumping the tank. Man, Logic, I would get into that, but I really don't have that much time tonight to really get into that. If you go on my channel, Logic, and watch my last live, and me and Money had a full-on debate. Me and Money Brown TV, me and my partner Money Brown TV, we talked about that, and we had a full-on debate about that, right? So go and watch my last live that I did, and then that'll answer your question, how I feel on that situation. Brandon House says, I was just about to say that even if Canelo pulls it out on Big Charlo, it'll be the first time you ever saw him get knocked down or bloody. He says he'd be looking like Josh Taylor after the Regis fight. Man, them are some good fights that need to happen. Mr. Finesse says Canelo been running from the Charlo since 54. Probably won't stop no time soon. That's facts. That's facts. Logic says, I'm saying Charlo legacy fight versus Andrade to unify and then unified champion would put more pressure on Canelo. Okay, so I don't have no problem with Charlo fighting Demetrius Andrade though. I would love to see that fight. That's a fight that's been years in the making. That's another fight that needs to happen. I don't have no problem with that fight. Conan McKay said Ricky Burns versus Terrence Crawford. First off, once again, that's a fight that happened years ago in 2014. And Ricky Burns versus Terrence Crawford can't even fucking compare to Errol Spence and Sean Porter. Ricky Burns versus Terrence Crawford, that wasn't even a great fight. So you wrong once again. That's what I'm saying. You're having a hard time answering the question because the question is, it wasn't a fight. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. No fight that UK had last year was even on the level of Sean Porter and Errol Spence. And that's just one fight. And I could go on and on. Ricky Burns versus Terrence Crawford wasn't a great fight. And that, like I said, that happened in 2014 anyway. Dayton Henry Jr. says Joshua versus Andrew Ruiz was a great fight, and that fight took place in Madison Square Garden in New York. So you can't say that the UK puts on all of the best fights because they don't. It's not true. Now, when you say the UK have the best fans, I agree with you. The UK do have the best boxing fans. And it's not even an argument. The UK have the best boxing fans. So let's move on. Before I get out of here, last thing I want to touch on real quick before I get up out of here is I want to talk about Clarissa Shields, right? And I'll probably do a video talking about this a little bit more. But Clarissa Shields, right? She talked. Logic says, what about the Mexican fans? UK fans to me. UK fans, they got the best fans to me, hands down. But Clarissa Shields, right? She came out and she did an interview recently, and she talked about a lot of things, right? Um, she talked about one of the things that she talked about that I want to get into, is Clarissa Shields talked about what she wants to do, in the near future in her career. Clarissa Shields that says that she wants to fight. She had a fight coming up that was supposed to take place. I believe it would have took place this weekend or last weekend, right? She was fighting for another title against a lady that was 17-0, right? So when she comes back, that's her next fight. So she says that she wants to, continue to go forth with that fight. I can't remember the lady's name that she was going to get in the ring with that was 17-0. She wants to continue to go forth with that fight. So she says she wants that fight. And then she wants the winner between Raquel Miller, right, and Hannah Gabriel. She want to fight the winner between Raquel Miller and Hannah Gabriel. She says if you don't know who Raquel Miller is, go look up Raquel Miller. Raquel Miller been talking a whole lot of shit for a couple years now when it comes to Clarissa Shields. Raquel Miller swears up and down that Clarissa Shields has been ducking her. She swears up and down that she will beat the shit out of Clarissa Shields. Raquel Miller has been very vocal when speaking about Clarissa Shields for years, right? So Clarissa Shields says that she wants to fight the winner between Raquel Miller and Hannah Gabriel. And Hannah Gabriel is a woman that Clarissa Shields has already beat, but Hannah Gabriel is the only woman to ever knock down Clarissa Shields. And besides, and gave Clarissa Shields one of the toughest fights that she's had, in the professional ranks, right? Franchon Cruz, if you ask me, gave Clarissa Shields the toughest fight of her career, and it was actually Clarissa Shields' pro debut that I was fortunate enough to see live. They went at it. I'm talking about they threw bombs the whole fight. They went at it. And hit my like button if you still in the building, right? So, so basically, I guess that Raquel Miller and Hannah Gabriel, they got a fight coming up sometime this year or next year with each other. And then Clarissa Shields want to fight the winner between them two ladies. And then after that, Clarissa Shields talked about going over to MMA. She says that after that, she want to start training to go into the MMA world. We all know that Clarissa Shields and Amanda Nunes, they talked about them fighting each other, So basically, she talked about that also. She says, so what's supposed to happen if it does go down with Amanda Nunes? She says they're supposed to have one fight in boxing and one fight in the octagon. She says that she believes that Amanda Nunes is scared to death to get inside a boxing ring with her. She says that she knows that she needs to learn and have a lot of time to, train to get in the octagon, but she says she with it. She says she want to go and get in the octagon and go over and start fighting in the UFC once she gets the proper training. So what y'all think about that? Do y'all really see Clarissa Shields leaving boxing, within the next year or so and going to UFC? Because she says that she believes that, the women in the UFC, they get treated a lot better. They get treated way more fair and way more equally than they do in boxing. And she's tired of it, and she ready to go over there to the UFC. She ready to turn, start a new career. She says that, that she knows that she could do it, and she ready. What y'all think about that? Y'all think that she actually gonna, quit boxing after 2 more fights and go over to the UFC? Logic says there could be a fight to get more people to view the women's division. Conan McKay says Amanda Nunes is a freak. Yeah, she a beast. Clarissa Shields a beast too. Two different, they're in 2 different lanes, but Like I said, they both the queen of the throne in their sport. Dane Henry Jr. says, damn, I lost your comment. I lost your comment. I ain't see it no more. Let me see. Brandon House says, where your super chat at, bro? I gotta show you some type of love. You take the time out of your day and dedicate to this boxing real spill. He says, I'm going to inbox you on Facebook. Money would tell you I'm good. I already know, man. Brandon, you good with me, and I appreciate that, my brother. I appreciate that, man. I don't got like no PayPal or no super chat, none of that up, man, because I just do this shit like I do it for the love. But, eventually I will. But, I don't want them, monitoring what I say if I cuss and all of that. But eventually I'll put something up, man. Conan McKay says, he says, man, Nunes would punch MA content. I don't know what you mean, but Brandon House says, I worked for Clarissa Shields when she fought on Showtime. She a real one. Yeah, man. I actually, if you go on my page, last year sometime, I actually interviewed Clarissa Shields live. I did a live Facebook interview with Clarissa Shields on Facebook. Yeah, Clarissa Shields a real one. Some of my family out in Flint grew up with Clarissa, I met her. I don't know Clarissa Shields like that on a personal level, but I've met her on several occasions, and she a real one. I'm always gonna support Clarissa Shields with anything that she do. I'm gonna always support her. But yeah, how y'all feel about that before I get up out of here? Cause I'm ready to, I'm about to get up off here. I gotta go. But yeah, and like I said, he says, yeah, Brandon House says, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't want them basically censoring everything I say and do, for real. But like I said, I might later on, but for right now, it is what it is. Okay, so you in Detroit? Okay, yeah, when she fought on Showtime. Yeah, in Detroit. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, man, but like I said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all y'all. Like I said, hit my like button. Go and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Everything Boxing and Sports. And y'all already know how I do. Yeah. Conan, I appreciate you coming in. And, even though we don't agree with on everything, I appreciate you keeping it respectful. And, you know how we do. There you go, talking that boxing again. I don't watch reality TV. I watch boxing. In anything and everything, but around here, everything boxing. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Come check me out next time. And like I said, hit my like button and subscribe to the channel, Everything Boxing and Sports on YouTube if you're not already subscribed. I'm out.